many organizations today, a variety of tasks are accomplished by work teams. Teams have proved highly successful in moving many companies toward their goals, especially in today's highly competitive business environment. But traditional team-building models need to be adapted to suit the diverse employee base we draw from today, where workers often come with different values, norms, backgrounds, languages, and points of view. Whether team diversity centers around things like work experience and position in the organization, or cultural differences involving language and ethnic background, or less changeable aspects like age and race, one thing is clear: the way these differences are managed within the group will have enormous consequences on how a team functions and how faithful it is to its performance objectives. Myths around diverse teams often suggest negative possibilities, conflicts, misunderstandings, and tensions.
I thought this is going to be a nightmare. How are all these different people ever going to agree on anything?
I didn't know what to expect, and I'm worrying about my English.
People of one background on a team want to stick together. It's human nature.
I was nervous. I knew two people that were on the team, and I knew that they didn't think the way I do.
Well, I figured if we could agree on the common goals, we could somehow work out our differences.
I sometimes think there's too much emphasis on results. The process is what interests me.
When they asked me to lead this team, I thought, wow, this will be a challenge. Well, I was not thrilled when I heard that Cleet was on the team. That man just rubs me the wrong way.
While conflicts and differences in diverse teams can be real and need to be addressed, the exact opposite can also be true. With work and awareness, diversity can be an added value and a rich resource. It can open a wide range of skills, viewpoints, and opportunities to a company for use in its many business and organizational goals. Diversity is not new. It's always been a part of this country, but it hasn't always been addressed. Now we're beginning to recognize and appreciate it in a fuller way. Quite simply, utilizing diversity can be good for business, capitalizing on creative resources, increasing customer base, and promoting better community relations. Any team, a group of people who come together to achieve certain results, is going to be diverse in some way. It may be a work team collaborating on a day-to-day basis to create a collective result. A task force team coming together for a short time to investigate and make recommendations around a specific issue. A problem-solving team solving specific work problems. Or a cross-functional team using people of various levels and functions within an organization for a variety of purposes. To tell the story of this particular team's experience with diversity, we need to go back to the very first day they met as a group. The team is cross-functional, with people from various levels of the organization's management and operations. Also, as a task force, it was selected and charged with exploring a specific issue.
Am I in the right place?
The Diversity Task Force?
Yeah, but I thought for a minute it was a UN meeting.
We got our own small world ride right here.
Well, it's great that we have such a wide cross-section of people. Yes, and I'm really glad to be here.
Me too. It's just that I'm not sure I understand exactly how we're supposed to do what this team is all about.
Well, we'll go into detail in a minute, but basically it's our job to explore and make some recommendations for increasing tolerance in the organization, to allow the whole range of people who work here understand and appreciate each other more.
Before we look more closely at the individuals in this team and how their diversity affects their interaction, how does a team work? The recent emphasis in many organizations on grassroots involvement of employees has meant a greater focus on groups and teams, translating into 4 dimensions of team building. Understanding these 4 dimensions is an important step in knowing how to lead a diverse team to success. First, all teams are organized to produce something, and team members should be clear about what it is. It can be as tangible as a machine part, report, or service, as intangible as improved communication and morale among employees with customers. Second, your diverse team will contain a whole range of human relationships. The diversity can give rise to conflicts and prejudgments, or with conscious effort, it can provide the basis for support, cooperation, and team spirit. Third, the shared task can produce a bond, a common ground that brings people together, a bond which can be strengthened by diversity in the effort to accomplish results. Finally, teams can go through intervening in the process of how they work by such things as special training sessions, retreats, or group sessions to address communications or other problems related to the group's diversity. Team members often have much in common based on working for the same organization, as well as basic human needs. But they also bring a range of differences which form a filter through which each sees and interacts within the group. Understanding these differences and the many influences that have formed our unique filters provides choices about our behavior and our reaction to others. Each person's filter is made up of 4 layers or dimensions. For example, Leah, the facilitator of the team we're looking at. At the center is personality, the innately unique aspect that gives us our own particular style.
I'm a pretty out there sort of person. Assertive, definitely a doer and a leader. I've been told I can be too controlling, and I'm working on that. But I'm good with people and feelings, and not so good with more linear and scientific thinking.
Then we're influenced by a group of internal factors over which we have little or no control, like gender, age, and race.
I'm in my late 30s, Jewish, born in Chicago, actually of Russian descent. And physically, well, I'm a diabetic. And although I'm basically healthy, it can affect my schedule sometimes, when and what I eat.
A third layer of factors is made up of external dimensions, those brought to bear by society and one's experiences in the world.
I'm divorced with 2 teenagers. We live on the west side in a pretty nice home. The kids have a life of their own now, which is hard for any mom to admit. So I've gotten back into my writing, which I'm enjoying. I have a master's degree in business, and I've been with the company for 5 years.
Finally, there are organizational influences such as seniority, level within the company, or your work location.
I'm in charge of the training division of human resources for this company. I guess I'd be middle management. We're on the 3rd floor, and as well as training new hires, I lead workshops, prepare training materials, things like that.
These 4 layers together form Leah's diversity filter, and each member of your team has the same 4 layers through which they filter ideas and communications. Understanding your own filter, as well as being aware of the 4 dimensions in other team members, is a major step in understanding why conflicts sometimes occur, as well as in valuing and using our unique differences. For example, here's a situation where personality differences come into play.
So what would a tolerant climate look like around here?
More wheelchair accessibility.
No racial jokes or sexual jokes either.
People would respect each other more.
Okay. That's right. Okay, Tony, how about you?
Well, it would be easy to work here, you know what I mean? They'd be able to talk, and I think that's really important. Let me put it this way. Suppose
I got one. There'd be less gossip about them, whoever they are.
What happened here? The personality layers of these 2 team members might provide clues.
Oh, a pretty quiet sort of guy. But my wife says that sometimes she can see the wheels spinning in my head. But if you give me enough time, I can figure out just about anything. Solve problems, fix things that break down, and like that.
Well, in spite of this thing, I'm a real doer. Back in school before my accident, I was pretty active. I guess my mind still is because I'm a quick thinker, assertive, and I can talk my way out of most anything.
Put these 2 people on the same team, and if they're not fully aware of each other's communication styles, what can happen?
They'd be able to talk, and I think that's really important. Let me put it this way. Suppose
I got one. There'd be less gossip about them, whoever they are.
If these 2 people are unaware of their differing communication styles, that's what happens. Less communication. But Tony's more methodical style of communication can be a real asset to this team in solving problems, while Ronnie's quick mind is invaluable